What up, kinfolk? It's your boy Screwface Capone in the house, and you're tuned into an extra Stax edition of the Stax. Yeah, I got we'll be going through some of the biggest items that came out at Gamescom. We also got some other news items that came out last week. So strap yourselves in, grab some food, grab something to drink. We're gonna kick back and we're gonna recap some of the biggest items from Gamescom last week. So for those that don't know, Gamescom is the second big gaming show of the year. The first being E3, and what Gamescom is a Germany-based game show where, you know, like E3, the companies come out with updates for their games that are out now, updates on games that are on the way, and announcements of brand new game trailers. So there was a lot of stuff that came out, like lots of indie stuff. We finally learned the release date of Halo Infinite. We learned about the new Saints Row game. There's a new Marvel game coming out, and there was a bunch of other surprises. Obviously, I'm not going to get everything, but I'm going to go through. Well, I got several of the biggest things that came out of Gamescom, as well as some other news items that came out from last week. We got some more on the Activision Lawsuit. Nintendo's been shutting down some fan projects, and a classic PlayStation franchise is making its return on the Switch and the PC, so stay tuned if you want to know what it is. And also I got the chapters below too. And at the end, I'm going to, instead of doing the cool shit this week, instead of doing like pick of the week this week, I'm going to go through some of the bigger, some of my favorite games I saw at Gamescom. So you want to check that out. Maybe there's something in there that you'll like. Anyway, before I hop in, I want you to hit that hit that subscribe button, and then click the little bell icon. That way you'll be the first to know when I put out new content. Right now I'm up at 97 subscribers, and I'm inching toward 100. I know that's not a big number, but I'm still moving the chains. So soon I'll be at 100. Then soon after that I'll be at 200. Then going further, I'll be at 500. Then pretty soon, before you know it, I'll be at 1,000. And I'll hopefully get the watch time needed to freaking start monetizing this shit. But like I said, comment. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon, and we just gonna hop right in before I talk your head off. This past week at Gamescom, Halo Infinite's release date was finally revealed. Halo Infinite will be launching on December 8th, right in time for Christmas. Microsoft also showed off a special custom Halo Infinite themed Series X console and controller. However, the console will likely be sold out by the time you watch this video. There is some concern over the Battle Pass system and how it will work. Developer Jerry Hook clarified that while Battle Passes will contain free and paid rewards, this won't be true for the Launch Pass. In addition, there were some concerns that players can only gain Battle Pass points by completing certain tasks rather than the XP-based progression, forcing players to play the game in a manner they may not want to just to complete the challenge. Hopefully 343 Industries will clarify this further soon. At the least, all Battle Pass unlocks will be cosmetic only, as opposed to Halo 5's requisition packs, so that will be welcome news to fans. Also, Battle Passes won't expire, and players can choose how to apply their progression. Nothing was shown from the campaign, and according to Microsoft, this was because the game is currently in the shutdown phase of development, as the work between now and the release will be dedicated to squashing bugs and prepping the game for launch. Halo Infinite will be one of two major Microsoft Game Studios titles launching this holiday season, the other being Forza 5, and there is a lot riding on this title. With the game's release being 3 months away, hopefully we'll learn more about the campaign. A few weeks ago, publisher Deep Silver hinted at a return of the open-world crime franchise Saints Row. This past week at Gamescom, we would learn that the series would indeed be rebooted. The new entry in the series, simply entitled Saints Row, takes place in Santo Ileso, a fictional city inspired by the American Southwest. Players once again take control of the boss, an aspiring crime lord who forms the Saints alongside 3 friends. The developers have assured players that the game will include the series' trademark customization. It will be bigger than ever. Compared to more recent entries, namely Saints Row 4 and Get Out of Hell, the reboot is definitely scaled back, although that may be a good thing. Along the trailer, the developers have shown another brief video that showed off gameplay footage. The reboot is due early next year on February 25th. In the meantime, players can download Saints Row 3 Remastered Edition on the Epic Games Store for free until this Thursday. Alright, real quick, there's been a lot of discussion about the new Saints Row, and people have had a lot of complaints about it, saying it's too woke, or not my Saints Row, or whatever it is. To me, that's just ridiculous. Because, you know, these days, like, anytime you see a black woman or a gay person, or just really anybody who's not a straight white male, in a prominent role in a game, then they complain about the game being woke and shit. But really, and to these people, did y'all even play any of the past Saints Rows? I mean, like, they had you fighting alongside gang members who were women, different races, even had old folks out there. So, and really, that wasn't even a big. Like, it was like that, like it wasn't even a big deal. Like, you had like all kinds of different people in the game, and like you could even visit a plastic surgeon to have them change the gender, like it wasn't nothing. So, and people say they look like internet influencers. Like, that was no different from like back in Saints Row 11, and that was a decade ago. And even like Saints Row 2, you check out some of those characters in there. Hell, even back to Saints Row 1. And as for like the direction, I mean, like, really, where else could they have gone after Saints Row 4 besides rebooting it? I mean, this game had you battling aliens in outer space, becoming the president of the US. They had Roddy Piper and Keith David recreating that scene from They Live, and they even had you going to hell to fight Satan. So, I mean, hearing all these complaints is just so ridiculous. To me, like, the new direction, if anything, it looks more like Saints Row 3. Like, it was still somewhat grounded, but at the same time, it was still wild and wacky, and it wasn't taking itself serious all the time. And like that was the big thing that helped it separate itself from GTA, like the customization, the havoc physics, and the fact that it didn't take itself seriously. They wrapped it up in 4, and I liked 4, but I'm kind of glad they're like down it back a little bit, because there was really no way it could really outdo itself. So all I'm saying is just like, give the game a chance. You know, use the same developers. You're gonna have the same level of customization, and you're gonna have the zaniness and all that crazy stuff in there. So just give the game a chance, and I have faith in Voltron. That being said, though, I'm gonna miss Johnny Gat. It's been rumored for months that 2K Games and Civilization and XCOM developer Firaxis was working with Marvel to produce a Marvel-themed strategy game. This was confirmed last week at Gamescom, although there is a twist. Marvel Midnight Suns, by the way, that's Suns spelled with S-U-N-S, is a game that will feature familiar Marvel superheroes with a focus on supernatural elements. Players will take control of familiar Marvel superheroes such as Doctor Strange, Wolverine, and Captain America. The game will also feature some more obscure characters such as Magic from New Mutants and Blade the Vampire Hunter. Alongside them will be a new hero known as the Hunter, which players can customize themselves. Midnight Suns is inspired by the early 90s comic storyline Midnight Suns, and that's S-O-N-S, which saw Marvel's mystical heroes such as Ghost Rider and Blade team up to battle Lilith, Mother of Demons. This game will have a plot inspired by that storyline. Although Midnight Suns is a strategy game, it will be significantly different from XCOM and won't include permadeath. A gameplay reveal is set for later this week, with the game due March of next year. One of the big surprises at Gamescom was a demo for the Pokemon-inspired action RPG named Dokev from Black Desert developer Pearl Abyss. Although it was announced back in 2019 as a massive multiplayer online game, the developers have since then changed focus and made the game into an open-world action-adventure game instead. With a super adorable character design, Dokev put players in an open world in which they capture and train creatures known as Dokebi. While the game isn't an MMO, it will contain player versus player elements, along with customization and crafting systems. This is the type of game that will no doubt appeal to younger gamers, and if early receptions are anything to go by, older heads will enjoy it as well. The game's visuals are running on Pearl's next-gen graphics software, and they look gorgeous. No doubt we'll see more about the game as the months progress. Hopefully it won't be bogged down with things like monetization, as this game does look to appeal to a younger audience. Before Gamescom, Jeff Keighley said there would be another football game being announced. While fans no doubt thought this would mean we will learn more about 2K's upcoming NFL game or even EA's returning NCAA football, this actually referred to the other type of football. You know, the one us Yanks refer to as soccer. A new company, Strikers Inc., is introducing a new football game that will compete with EA's FIFA and Konami's eFootball. Players will be able to form their own clubs by picking from over 5,000 real-life players. The Unreal Engine-powered free-to-play game will emphasize on what the developers refer to as fair-to-play and will avoid pay-to-win elements. The trailer didn't reveal a lot about the gameplay, but the developers will provide release information soon. Fans of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will no doubt recognize April O'Neil, the young woman who is the Turtles' ally that always ends up being kidnapped. She's always shown up in some form or another throughout various shows, movies, comic books, and games. The most famous version of her is no doubt the yellow-suited redhead from the 80s cartoon. She'll be appearing in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which is set for next year. This time, she'll be a playable character. The trailer shown at Gamescom showed off some more gameplay, including co-op attacks. It's cool to see April show up and not be a damsel in distress this time. Hopefully we'll see other playable characters, such as Casey Jones and even Splinter. Shredder's Revenge, being developed by Dotemu, is a beat-em-up that looks to be a throwback to Konami's classic TMNT arcade games. Speaking of April, she'll also be showing up in the upcoming Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, along with fan-favorite Nicktoon character Cat Dog. All-Star Brawl is a Smash Bros. Style game that will feature characters from several Nickelodeon franchises. It will also feature online play with rollback netcode. The game is set to launch later this year. One of my top games from last year, Wasteland 3, will be receiving another new piece of content this fall. The Cult of the Holy Detonation will have players battle against the cult of mutated beings in Colorado's Cheyenne Mountain. The combat will be revamped to feature objectives as opposed to simply wiping out the opposing forces. In addition to the new expansion, Deep Silver and Exile will also release Wasteland 3, the Colorado Collection, which will contain the base game, the new expansion, and the previous expansion, the Battle of Steel Town. Both the expansion and the compilation will be released on October 5th. Whether you are new to Wasteland 3 or are looking to jump back in, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. The 2019 Metroidvania, Blasphemous, took players by storm with its unique visuals, bizarre enemies, and Spanish Inquisition-inspired setting. Since its 2019 release, the developers have kept up support with free updates, including a crossover with Bloodstained, another big Metroidvania game with high marks. More content is on the way with the upcoming Wounds of Eventide, which is said to be the final segment of the game's story. The expansion will be released on December 9th for free. In addition, Team 17 also hinted that the game's sequel will be on the way in 2023. While this is a few years out, it's no doubt good news for fans of the game. Nintendo revealed more information about Metroid Dread, set to release this October. A new trailer hinted at part of the game's storyline as it showed Samus doing battle against the Chozo warrior. For those not into Metroid, the Chozo are the mysterious bird-like race that gave Samus her powers. In addition to that, the trailer also showed off Kraid, a classic enemy from previous Metroid games, set to make his return in Metroid Dread. No doubt this is good news for fans who remember taking him on in Super Metroid in a battle that saw him take up several screens. Metroid Dread is set to release October 8th on the Nintendo Switch, right alongside the Nintendo Switch OLED, which is an upgraded version of the console. Several release dates were revealed at Gamescom. We already know that Halo Infinite finally has a release date of December 8th. We also discovered that Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania and the PlayStation exclusive platformer Jet the Far Shore will both be launching on October 5th, with Far Cry 6 launching 2 days afterward on the 7th. Death Stranding, the director's cut, will be coming to PS5 on the 24th of September, and Jurassic World Evolution 2 will be dropping November 9th. February of next year will be a particularly big month. We already know that Saints Row is dropping on the 25th, but as we found out in a previous video, King of Fighters 15 will be releasing on the 17th, while the brawler Sifu will be launching on the 22nd, and Horizon Forbidden West will also release on the 18th. We already know that Elden Ring will be launching on January 21st, but it was also revealed that Nintendo's Pokemon Legends Arceus will drop 7 days later on the 28th. 2002 looks to be a Stax year and is already going to start out that way. As the months progress, we'll learn about more release dates. While many games were revealed at Gamescom, there were also a lot of no-shows. As I pointed out earlier, there is no new information about Halo Infinite's campaign. Not only was that missing, but there was also no new information about any of the other exclusives Microsoft announced recently. These include Avowed, Contraband, Redfall, Fable, and Forza Motorsport. Although to be fair, we don't know exactly where these titles are in development, as some of them have been announced fairly recently. Even more conspicuous by their absence, however, are the games Everwild and Scorn. Everwild was announced 2 years ago, and there is no definitive clue as to what type of game it will be. Scorn, which is a third-party Xbox exclusive, at least when it launches, is set to release later this year, but there has been little to no new info about the game since its announcement. On Sony's side of things, they were absent from the show, so there wasn't much in the way of updates or new games on their end, other than Horizon's release date. In particular, there was no new info about God of War Ragnarok. In addition, Warner Bros. Games was also absent, and there was no new info on either Gotham Knights or Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, let alone the new NetherRealm Studios fighting game. Thankfully, we did learn that LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, was still alive and set to release sometime next year, even though there was no solid release date. While the multiplayer shooter CrossFire X wasn't at Gamescom, nonetheless we learned some new information about the game this past week. If you recall, CrossFire X marks the franchise's US console debut. In addition, the game will also have a single-player campaign developed by Alan Wake and Control developer Remedy. The game had a beta last year, but the developers have mostly been radio silent about the game for most of 2021, save for an update last month. This update showed off 3 new maps and detailed mid-match multiplayer progression changes. Namely, as players become stronger, they can turn into one of several legendary mercenaries. Smilegate showed off even more of the game this past week, with a short trailer that showed off some new maps, along with what appeared to be a new game mode that had players battle against some demonic-looking creatures. Even more intriguing was the appearance of the Boogeyman, a badass-looking character who can rip his enemies apart with skives. While no release date was revealed, The game will apparently still be launching this year on Xbox One and Series X, and if that's the case, best of luck. They'll be entering an online shooter field that will include Call of Duty Vanguard, Halo Infinite, Battlefield 2042, and many others. Hopefully the new modes they're showing off will be enough to set it apart from other online shooters. The beta I played over a year ago was amazing, and I can't wait to see where they go from there. Since its release, Fortnite has had tons of crossovers with everything from Marvel to Batman to LeBron James to the NFL. The latest crossover involves none other than civil rights crusader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. While thankfully he's in an unlockable skin, players can travel through a virtual museum and listen to his I Have a Dream speech in the game's creative mode. Seeing as how this is Fortnite, this is going as well as you would expect it to, as Epic had to disable some inappropriate emojis while playing through the event. While there is no doubt potential for an online museum featuring Dr. King, I'm not sure Fortnite is the best place to do it. Still, at least Epic's heart is in the right place, and with Republicans attempting to keep teachers from teaching actual history under the guise of it being critical race theory, we might have to use Fortnite to teach some of these things. Tecmo Koei announced that Monster Rancher 1 and 2 will be returning on the Nintendo Switch and PC just in time for the franchise's 25th anniversary on December 9th. Originally released in 1997, Monster Rancher was a Pokemon-style monster collection game originally released on the original PlayStation, with a sequel releasing 2 years later in 1999. To collect monsters in the games, players would have to remove the Monster Rancher disc from the console and replace it with a music CD. The CD would then be read, and the new monster would be generated from the data. You would think that on Nintendo Switch this feature would be somewhat hard to replicate. However, the developers have added in an in-game database where users can look up CDs by searching them by name and using their data. So while you obviously can't use your actual CDs, I'm not sure you even have them anymore. I mean, streaming services and stuff. I mean, come on, who still listens to CDs? You can still generate monsters by looking up your favorite albums in an in-game database. The compilation, entitled Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX, will also include several quality of life updates and gameplay rebalancing. If you're into Pokemon, or if you remember these games from the PlayStation era, be sure to check it out. Nintendo is notorious for being overly protective of its intellectual properties to the point of killing mods and fan games that the creators don't profit from. Fans will no doubt remember the shutdown of AM2R or another Metroid 2 remake, which remade the Game Boy game Metroid 2 with graphics on par with Super Metroid 3. This time, the Riptide tournament seems to be the latest casualty of Nintendo's copyright strikes, as the tournament organizer revealed that Nintendo sent a cease and desist to shut down its Project Plus tournament events. For those not in the know, Project Plus is a mod of Smash Bros. Brawl that makes a number of fixes and even adds in new characters. Keep in mind that Brawl doesn't even have active online servers, as it was released on the Wii in 2008, and 2 other entries in the Smash Bros. Series have been released since then. In addition to Riptide, a Metroid Prime fan project, Prime 2D, was also hit with a takedown order as well. Prime 2D was a fan project that will recreate 2002's Metroid Prime as a 2D action game. While I can see Nintendo protecting its properties, this was a fan game that will be released for free, and in the case of Project Plus, that was a huge part of the Smash Bros. Fan base. These DMCA attacks simply cause to serve ill will among Nintendo's fans. Almost a decade after it was shut down, former employees of 38 studios are just now getting their final paychecks, or at least a part of them. The payouts, done as part of a settlement, range from 14 to 20% of what employees are owed based on what office they were working at the time the studio shut down. For those that don't recall, 38 Studios was the game development studio formed in 2006 by former Major League Baseball player and current QAnon cultist Curt Schilling. The studio's only title, Kingdoms of Amalur: The Reckoning, was released in 2012. Although it received a decent reception, a combination of poor sales and financial mismanagement will lead to the studio closing down in 2012 and the company filing for bankruptcy shortly after. This would also lead Project Copernicus, a planned MMO based on the franchise, on the cutting room floor as well. Recently, Deep Silver, aka THQ Nordic, picked up the rights to the franchise and released a remastered version of the game last year. Much of the studio's financial issues were related to the studio's move from Boston, Massachusetts to Providence, Rhode Island, with reports of employees not receiving paychecks. Since then, Schilling has abandoned gaming and went back to spreading QAnon conspiracy theories while threatening to run for Senate. Finally, we got some more recent updates about the Activision lawsuit. For those unaware, Activision is currently being sued by the state of California for promoting a culture of discrimination and sexual harassment. In the latest twist, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, or the California DFEH for short, is now accusing the company of not cooperating with the investigation. To back up these new claims, the DFEH has cited examples such as Activision's non-disclosure agreements and the hiring of law firm WilmerHale, notorious for being involved in union busting. Also, the DFEH is accusing the company of shredding paperwork related to the case. In addition, the lawsuit has been expanded to include contractors as well as salaried employees. Activision released a statement of their own. Throughout our engagement with the DFEH, we have complied with every proper request in support of its review, even as we have been implementing reforms to ensure our workplaces are welcoming and safe for every employee. Those changes continue today and include several high-level personnel changes, revamped hiring and recruiting practices requiring diverse interview panels, greater transparency on pay equity, expanded and improved training and investigative capabilities for human resource and compliance staff, create investigation teams outside of business units to support greater independence, restructured divisions to support greater accountability, enhanced review processes to include evaluation of managers by employees, clear boundaries on workplace behavior with a zero-tolerance approach to harassment and other actions that diminish or marginalize. We strive to be a company that recognizes and celebrates diverse talents and perspectives that lead to the creation of great, globally appealing entertainment. We have provided the DFEH with clear evidence that we do not have gender pay or promotion disparities. Our senior leadership is increasingly diverse, with a growing number of women in key leadership roles across the company. We share DFEH's goal of a safe, inclusive workplace that rewards employees equitably and are committed to setting an example that others can follow. While it's true that there have been several heads let go from the company, many of the problem actors still remain. Until Activision implements lasting change, all their statements will be seen as just words, and all their actions will be seen as simply putting band-aids over a wound. Oh, in the meantime, Activision and Blizzard plan to rename Overwatch character McCree, as he was named after Jesse McCree, one of the people who were fired by Blizzard this past month. In better news, Call of Duty Vanguard looks cool, so yay, I guess? Alright, that wraps it up for this week's edition of the Stax. I know it was bigger than usual, but I had a lot of things to go over, and I know I didn't get everything. So if there was anything from Gamescom that I missed, then feel free to let me know in the comments. If you have any thoughts on anything else that I discussed, then let me know in the comments. Also, if you like what you just saw, hit that like button, the thumbs up, and once again, hit that subscribe button and click the little bell icon. That way you'll be the first to know when I put out new content. I'm on my way to 100 subscribers. Again, not much, but like I keep saying, it's all steps forward, and the steps you take ain't gotta be big ones. They just gotta take you in the right direction, and that's what I'm doing here, taking more steps in the right direction. And if you're watching this, then you got the opportunity to help me make those steps. So, like, comment, subscribe. I'll have more stuff for you on the way shortly. And until next time, I'm Audi 51,000 G, kinfolk.